Welcome everybody to look at one of the latest 4K releases from Vinegar Syndrome, and it is 2001's Sleepless. So yeah, it's directed by Dario Argento, who's done some of my all-time favourite films like Deep Red, Phenomena, Tenebrae and The Cat and Nine Tails. So this is a Giallo film, it's a return to the genre for him, and clocks in at 117 minutes long. Stars the likes of Max von Sydow, who's also in the likes of The Exorcist, Awakenings, Minority Report and Shutter Island. Also stars Chiara Caselli, who was in My Own Private Idaho, and Gabrielle Levia, who was also in Deep Red, so he was rather good in that one. So yeah, an elderly and retired police detective and a young amateur sleuth team up to find a serial killer whom has resumed a killing spree in Turin, Italy, after a 17-year hiatus. So yeah, I haven't seen many films from Argento after the 1980s. The only other two I've seen would be Two Evil Eyes, which was a co-collaboration between him and George A. Romero, and his once again another return to the giallo genre with Dark Glasses. So yeah, the main reason I haven't really revisited most of his post-80s stuff is that I haven't heard much good about them. But this is nonetheless a surprisingly effective and engaging effort. The cast is also good, the pacing is on point, the score is great, it is well shot, has an excellent score by Goblin, which he reunites with after collaborating with them many a time in the past. The plot is predominantly well executed, and there is some decent tension throughout. However, it is the violence where this ultimately excels, which is kind of typical for a Dario Argento film, especially one within the giallo genre, as it is suitably brutal, but in more of an old school kind of 80s kind of way than what would become more common in the rest of the decade. It's not torture porn or anything like that, like Hostel or Saw or anything like that. It is more old school in its violence. It also has a really rather great headshot, which again is something that is quite old school, because I don't feel like we've had many great, headshots post 1980s. We look for the 90s and 2000s. I can't really recall many others that I would say that rank alongside this one. So yeah, the film as a whole does feel like a throwback to his 80s heyday. It even starts in 1983 before fast forwarding 17 years. So yeah, definitely getting that vibe that he's trying to replicate his 80s heyday with the giallo genre. And yeah, quite frankly, that works. To be honest, if you're going to go back to any part of your career, why not go back to the part that was successful and sort of try and replicate that in certain. Do apologise. My cat is getting in the way. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with trying to replicate part of your heyday as long as you're not, retreading old ground. And I don't feel like that is doing that all that much, because the Goblin score doesn't sound entirely like ones that they've done before for Argento. The kills are also quite different. The mood is also a little bit different as well. Obviously, we've got new technology in this, considering it's set in the year 2000 rather than back in the 80s. So yeah, overall, I feel like this is a really, really good effort and another solid release from Vinegar Syndrome. So yeah, this is going to get a 4 out of 5. It's not the best Giallo that Argento has done, obviously. Because I've rated all the other Giallos that I've mentioned already 4.5 or more. So yeah, it's not quite hitting the highs of his previous films, but considering how yeah, I've heard a lot of bad things about his post 80s stuff, I am on the whole really rather quite surprised. And yeah, this starts off brilliantly, loses its way a tiny weeny bit in the middle part, but comes all back together by the end. And yeah, we also have reversible sleeve artwork as well with the original Italian title art. And yeah, like I said, we've shown you already, we've got this really nice sleeve cover, slip cover even, with new artwork on it. Who did the new artwork? Don't think it says. We'll read through it, and then maybe we'll come across who actually did the new artwork. So yeah, the 4K UHD disc contains the 117-minute feature presentation of Sleepless, presented in Dolby Vision, HDR, and newly scanned and restored from its 35mm original camera negative with the following sound options. You got the original Italian language 5.1 surround soundtrack and with newly translated English subtitles, and then you got the English language 5.1 surround soundtrack and a commentary track with film historians Nathaniel Thompson and Troy Howarth. So also when it comes to the English one, you can have the forced subtitles, so that's only when there's an Italian piece of language on screen that is being read or anything like that you might well not otherwise know about in terms of what it says in English. And then you have the standard subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing as well. So they'll include the forced ones as well as the subtitles for all of the dialogue, which is really helpful. Also included is a Blu-ray disc containing everything on the UHD disc, plus the following special features. You got Still Awake, which clocks in at 15 minutes long, and that is an interview with actress Chiara Caselli. You got The One Who Saw, that's a 10-minute interview with actor Stefano Dionissi even. And then we've got Behind the Smile, a 17-minute interview with actor Roberto Zibetti. The Invisible Work, that's a 25-minute interview with editor Anna Napoli. Then you got One Last Score, 22-minute interview with composer Claudio Simonetti, who was part of Goblin. Now, obviously, he worked outside of the band Goblin, most notably the likes of Demons, which is not a Dario Argento directed film, but it is one that was produced by him. Then you got Bloodwork, which is a 20-minute interview with special effects artist Sergio Stivalletti. Then you got He Never Sleeps, an 18-minute archival interview with co-writer director Dario Argento. Then you Don't Go to Sleep, a 17-minute archival interview with actor Paolo Maria Scalendro. The Cop and the Parrot, 11-minute archival interview with co-writer Franco Farini. Then you got Blood on the Tracks, 16-minute archival interview with production designer Antonella Geleng. And then you got Killed 3 Times, that's a 12-minute archival interview with actor Gabriel Lavia. So yeah, on the whole, a lot of extras there, and yeah, the 4K transfer looks really, really good. Although again, like a lot of other 4K releases that I've reviewed, don't have a Blu-ray that I've seen before to compare it against. And yeah, I haven't actually seen this film before, so yeah, I don't have any prior, you know, visual comparisons to compare it against. Obviously, I could watch a Blu-ray that this comes with, but I really don't have time to watch the same film twice. That's clocking in at nearly 2 hours long. But I imagine it's still fairly good in terms of the Blu-ray transfer. But the 4K itself looks really, really good, and the sound quality is excellent as well, especially when it comes to that score, which, yeah, is easily one of the highlights of this film overall. And yeah, that's usually the case for a Dario Argento film. Outside of the violence and the style and such, it's usually the score that comes in at least the top 3, if not top 5, in terms of the best reasons for that film to exist. So yeah, and it's a cracking score, and yeah, overall a really, really good film. So yeah, highly surprised. This isn't necessarily going to mean that I'm going to see other Argento films from around this period, because like I said, I have heard a great deal of bad things about his films from some of the 90s and most of the 2000s. So yeah, this is probably one of the outliers in his filmography from this period, but still a great film regardless. And yeah, one that I'm highly, highly pleased to have bought and seen. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.